Hello Star Wars fans, Mando Mitchy back today, and we're going to be doing an unboxing and a setup in my Jabba sail barge diorama area in my work office. And what we're going to be unboxing and looking at and using in part is the Target exclusive Legacy Collection Battle at the Sarlaac Pit. I don't know if you call this I guess a battle pack, playset, whatever you would officially call this. So yeah, I picked this up from another collector who was getting out of his letting go most of his modern Star Wars collection, and I've had it just for a little while, and I'm going to be using this alongside my skiffs and my sail barge. So as you see, if you've not seen this or unaware, this has the Sarlaac Pit. It has one of the old style skiffs, and then some of the legacy line of the action figures. So I don't imagine I'll be using like the Weequay, the Lando skiff guard, definitely not the Luke Skywalker or the Boba Fett. So I think maybe the Han Solo is the only one that I might use in that, and I've got one Han Solo in my carbon freeze chamber diorama set up already. So the skiff I'm not going to use. I think I'm actually going to use the skiff in my vintage Kenner display. I don't have Power of the Force 1 skiff, and that would look really pretty cool. It's same style from what I understand, is use that with my vintage Kenner displays and that, until I can maybe be fortunate enough down the road to buy one of those expensive things and have in my collection. But we're gonna go ahead and get it unboxed. We'll look at the figures. What I'll probably do is I'll save the box, the packaging. I'll store the figures and accessories that I don't use, just so I have it, so I can put this back together if down the road I ever decide to let go of it. But so let's get this thing unboxed. We're gonna take a little bit closer look at it, all heading toward it being a shelf display along the sail barge that I 3D printed and have on display. So let's get into this thing.
All right, I wanted to take just a minute before. I've got the Battle at the Sarlacc items unboxed but not unfastened from the packaging. So I wanted to look a little bit closer before I start unboxing. So this was like a 2008 manufactured, released set, Target exclusive, like I had mentioned. And it's pretty apparent when you begin to look at the figures, just how far we've come with modern TVC. So, not bad sculpt. Like Boba Fett looks pretty decent. I think I have this. I think I have all these figures, other than Jedi Luke, already in my collection. Maybe not the Weequay. I don't know, that maybe I do have that legacy line of him. But as far as sculpt goes, this was probably cutting edge, top of the line. I wasn't collecting in 2008, so I wasn't around to to comment or that. But his coloring and all that, his proportions, rocker ankles, some cool features there. But yeah, just those swivel elbows are a little bit different. And then yeah, just compared to the new Boba Fett, yeah, it's just it's just different, isn't it? But you can see time has not been good to some of the accessories. Weequay's staff has a little wave to it. So does Lando's. Yeah, so that's not been great there. But yeah, I'm excited to get this the rest of the way open. I've seen these in reviews and videos, and I've had this for, I don't know, probably a year, or maybe around a year in the box. So just excited now that I'm able to get it actually in place and put in my collection. So we're gonna open that up and look. But yeah, that Luke, he's a far cry from modern. Just that facial likeness is so far from what we're getting right now in TVC. That's just amazing. Makes me feel good about where we're at right now. And this was probably great at the time in comparison, but man, we are in such better shape now with the sculpts and what we have. We were very spoiled, I think. I know there's a lot of complaints as far as Hasbro and some of the decisions, but I love the new stuff that we're getting. And I don't love the prices necessarily, but the quality and what we're seeing there is just so good. So, all right, let's go ahead and get these guys the rest of the way out of the package, and we'll continue to evaluate this. Okay, we've got this out of the packaging and ready to look over. And so let's look at the figures first. So in this, and I guess just so you know, so we're in the winter of 2026, and right now the eBay prices for this Battle at the Sarlaac Pit set, eBay prices new, unopened, sealed, right around $300 for that, give or take a little bit. And then an open set seems to be, if it's opened with the box, is a little more, or just a regular open set seems to be around that $150 to $200. That's what the going prices are right now. So if you're interested in this and you don't have one, that kind of gives you an idea what your price range is out there, and the chances of us getting that re-released. I don't know. I mean, with them doing the Katana in 18, and then the skiffs and Jabba's palace and all the support they've had for that, would they re-release this? I mean, honestly, this is almost like with 5 figures, a ship, and that. It's almost like that. Not that I agree with this, but it's almost like that HasLab scale now. So with all the options, I just don't know. So I don't know. I don't know that they would ever re-release this. So your only option, if you need this to complete your Jabba's sail barge, diorama, your Jabba's palace, you just want all that. That's my goal, is to have that entirety of that, that part of that media in diorama form and action figures. So as I looked at that, this was like one of the next natural steps in that progression. So yeah, that's what your pricing is. Now, today, I didn't look at 3D print files. I printed my own barge. I've made a lot of my own stuff. You might be able to print that. I don't know, and I'll show you in a minute. This is unique. This is not hard plastic. It's sculpted differently. It would be a little harder to pull this off and look like this anyway. But let's look at the figures first. So you can see that this is just I think that typical Lando skiff guard from that Legacy line. Swivel elbows and, not a lot of articulation otherwise. So yeah, pretty nice figure for the time. Weequay, this is very reminiscent or similar to what I remember was on the Power of the Force 2 Weequay. Now, a little bit different, a little better sculpting maybe, but very, very similar. So swivel elbows and that. I showed you the Boba Fett earlier. Really, I think out of all these, him and Han are probably my favorite too. So that's a nice sculpt of him. You can see his rangefinder's a little bent, but overall, he's looks good. He's got that, what we now know, that mythosaur symbol. So that's pretty cool that was in place back then. But yeah, so I like him a lot. Luke, I guess, from I have the Rancor, Legacy Rancor Luke as well. And I think the face sculpt on that's a little bit better. I didn't use that head though. I'll show that in a review. And then it does have that open spot on his hand right there on that figure too. And his vest is more soft goods. So I like that version a little better but this one does have a little more. He's got swivels at the knees, so he does have, a little bit more. No swivel ankles like Boba Fett. But yeah, I won't be using him at all in a display. Way better options. Han, in his carbon freeze attire, not a bad looking action figure. I really just need him to stand on that skiff. I think, his staff sure didn't make it. I know, seems like in this era, that soft plastic in that Legacy era didn't didn't stand the test of time real great. But overall, I think he'll do nicely with his deco and what he's got there. And then I might do a head swap because he's kind of got this, like, he's looking up. I don't know what he's looking up at, but look to the sky, Han. Maybe that's supposed to be because he's got, like he's, carbon 6 still and he's kind of blind. Maybe that's his like way of doing that, but I don't care for that necessarily. So a couple of thoughts on that, with the new releases of Han that are out, there's some good options. And I did pick this up at a antique store. I think I paid $5, so I could swap the heads, and then I've already got him in Stormtrooper outfit and my Death Star display, so I could just use that as a Stormtrooper with the other head in there. So I might do that. I'm gonna see. I'm not positive yet. So looking forward, I think, and I don't know definitively, but I think this is the same release that we had seen in the previous eras in earlier, like the Power of the Force 2 and that time frame when they released this skiff. So I think it's got the same mechanism on this, very different than the Vintage Collection. I've got one of those skiffs, going to get a second one probably. Right now there's only 4 figures out to fill that. And I might do some customs. I feel weird about, my other skiff is clear full, and then you have one that's like vacancies because I haven't made the figures yet. But anyway, I think I'm going to use this for my vintage Kenner. If I understand it right, I've never seen the Power of the Force 1, that super rare and expensive skiff, in person to compare that. But I think it's the same mold. I'm sure probably the deco and that's a little bit different than this, but I think this would really look nice in that vintage Kenner retro style diorama. So I've got a lot of Jabba and figures, and collecting even some of those fan-made ones, the Stan Solo and the other ones too. So I'm building out, not only modern, but I do have the vintage as well, the vintage Kenner. So I think I'm going to use that. And if I am able to pick up a Power of the Force 1 someday at a reasonable price, I can't see spending what most people are asking. But if I could get that, then I think I probably would, and I could do something else with this. Who knows? Probably just stick it back. So yeah, I'm happy with that. It's not a bad piece to have in the collection. And now to the Sarlaac Pit. So just to talk a second about the box art too. I love box art. Especially vintage collection and vintage Kenner. And Legacy is not always like my favorite thing, but if you look at this is the back of that box. I mean, with the bubble and the clear shape on the front, I guess if you had it boxed, it'd be one thing. I'm not a box collector or a loose collector, but I do use my vintage collection boxes as box art on some of those lower shelves that you can't really display things in that. So I might actually set this up down there with the back out. I need to store the box anyway. I'll keep all the packaging just in case I need it someday. But that is kind of a cool thing. Talks about some of the features in that, and just that illustrated look. It's pretty cool. So now to the Sarlacc Pit. So in the packaging, they give you, and when it's boxed, they do give you this kind of thin plastic piece, and this can fit. It fits over the top of that. And I guess if you wanted to make your diorama a little more full and have that, I have seen guys use this before. With that, I think if I was going to build it out bigger, which I'm not because of space, I wouldn't use this. I just think it looks like what it is, a thin piece of plastic. I would sculpt something out of, sculpt a mold and do what I've done in my other dioramas and add to this base piece. This is looks very realistic to me. So with that, this, if you've not seen this piece is separate. So you do get, this is a hard plastic shell with nice deco. It's rough, feels sandy. It's got some of the faded paint, like it was airbrushed in to fade into the Sarlaac Pit look. So this is really, really nice. So I like the look of this, and you can see in that comparison, it's not even the same. So that's great for the box and maybe for some guys, but not in my display. So now to the beast that resides in there. The beast that, as we now know with the Book of Boba Fett, where Boba Fett hung out for a while before he was rescued and he escaped and was able to make that out. So depending on what your view is, so if you want kind of pre-release and you don't want all this look, you can customize this by, some of this comes out. You can take that centerpiece out if you don't want that. This tentacle comes off as well. So there are some options as far as that goes. So it is customizable, I guess, based on the person. My thought is George Lucas redid that, and he said if he could have done it this way and when he made the movie, and if the technology was there, he would have included it then. So if the originator, if the man himself thought this was the way he wanted it, who am I to say differently? This was his creation, his mastermind. If I was making my own make-believe world, I could do it however I wanted, but I'm going to go with what George thought. But maybe you're just like, I just want the original theatrical release. I don't want that in there. And that's fine. To each their own and that. But yeah, this is you can see it flexes a little bit. This is a soft plastic, rubbery feel. The tentacles are all the same. The deco is great. You can open the mouth if you want that. So yeah, just really, really a neat piece. So I'm, for purchasing all of this, basically, I'm going to use the Sarlacc Pit and one figure, and then a skiff and something else. So like maximizing the value of all this and dioramas, not really, but that's part of it, isn't it? So what I'm going to do next is I've got beside my sail barge and my one skiff that I've got set up, I'm going to mount a shelf, and above that skiff, and we'll have the Sarlacc Pit on that shelf. So that'll be the next part of this video. We'll get it in display. We'll take a look at the rest of my Jabba's palace and sail barge as well. And it's not complete yet, but we're still working on that. So let's get that shelf mounted and get into my work office and take a look at what that looks like next. Hello, Star Wars fans. Mando Mitchy back in this final part of this unboxing and display of the Sarlacc Pit. So I've got this on the shelf in my work office, and showing a little bit, you can see I've got one of the skiffs here sitting alongside the katana, the sail barge. And this is not the HasLab katana. This is the 3D printed katana that I did just recently. So if you're interested, you can check that out on my YouTube channel page. I've got a whole video playlist of building the barge, the whole process of 3D printing it, painting it, assembling it, and then equipping it. So I've got really one more custom figure that I want to do for this before I do the grand finale on the sail barge itself. And here is the Vintage Collection skiff, and you can see it's complete with the figures. So I was waiting on that re-release of Velkan Taziri, so you can see he's in place now. So I'm glad that we have him and all the usual suspects up there. So I do want to get the second skiff, and my plan is when I do that, I'll probably put another shelf right here on the wall, move that skiff over so it looks like Luke is up above the Sarlacc Pit, and then do the second skiff here. So I'm on the look for another Vintage Collection skiff. And then there's 4 figures that I know of that have been made for the other skiff. I've got all 4 of those, but man, as far as the rest of them, we're missing really the other half of that. So to populate that, man, just put 4
figures on there. I'm like, oh, that'll be kind of disappointing, but I'm willing to do it and then maybe make some custom. So stay tuned for that as I want to finish that off. And really, I think at that point, I'll have taken, until there's some releases of some new maybe characters or some customs that I do. There's some other ones that I do want to get, like Fozik and Shasa Teal, maybe make that, and some different ones like that. But when we do that, and if we get to re-release the Mana Man, I might get him. If they do that from the Mando and Grogu movie and put him in the barge here too. But yeah, this was such a fun project and just turned out so good. So just love this. So anyhow, so yep, there's the skiff towering above the Sarlaac Pit. So that's going to wrap up the unboxing and review of this awesome piece I've added to my collection. If you've not, I would ask you like and subscribe. You'll see some more full-length videos of building the barge. You'll see me talking about the rest of my collection. There's my dual Death Star diorama, some of my figures. You'll see some of my vintage collection stuff up here. My Hoth battle display, that's cool. There's a cool playlist on building that. And then I've got Jabba's palace, which is such a fun diorama to put together there. And then coming up, you're going to see some videos dropping soon. I'm actually building the bar. I'm doing some custom pieces with that, so it's not going to be very screen accurate, but it's going to be really cool. So those should be dropping soon, and that's going to be in this shelf as well. So again, the Mandalorian shelf, the Mandoverse, I just love the Mandalorian. Some other cool stuff, some retro Superman, the movie figures, love those. The Carbon Freeze Chamber diorama, one of my favorite movies ever. I just have that on display because it makes me feel good. Nacho Libre. All right, looking at that, and again, finally, the reason we're here, the Sarlaac Pit. Glad to have this in my collection. Again, like and subscribe. Check out my other videos. Thank you for watching. God bless you all. This is Mando Mitchy. We'll see you next time.